Hi, I welcome you to today's episode of our Graphic Design Academy 1.0. And in this tutorial, we are going to learn about our Photoshop essentials, the tools and the things that we are going to need to make our designs. And for the start, as we begin earlier, I sent some video links for you to try. So without wasting much time, let's get into it and start learning about our Photoshop. When we enter into the Photoshop, there are some things we are going to need, which are the most important things that we need to know about Photoshop before we can start any design. So the first thing that we are going to need, the first three things, the basic things, is the tools panel, the options layer panel, and the layers panel. Those are the three panels that we are going to need when we are doing Photoshop, any work on Photoshop. That is what we will be using. And uh, without wasting more any time, let's get into it again. So you open your Photoshop. You see what we were talking about in the earlier sessions. We were saying something about the menu bar. So when you talk about the menu bar, this is the menu bar as indicated in the lessons that I gave you. So we will create a new file, which we are going to create here, and set our width and height. Set our width and our height. So talking about layers, this side is where we are going to keep our layers. So this is the layers panel. We have channels, we have path, but the most thing we are going to use is the layers. So the layers panel, and we have the tools panel, and this is the option bar. You see, when you select any tool, if you want to make any changes or do anything with that tool, these are the options that you are going to have. So you just come, like if I select this and I have, let's say I have a box here and I want to make any changes to the box. When I select the tool, this is the rectangle tool. This is the options I have. This is the options I have to this particular box that I have here. So right now I want to fill the box, the rectangle, with a color. Let's say a color red. Make sure you've selected the two. I want to give it an outline of, let's say, this sea blue here, this sea blue here. I want to broaden the stroke of the rectangle. You see, when I enter 50 and I click enter, you see there's a change on on the rectangle. You can change the lines of the rectangle, you can do it. So that is where we have our options. You see, you select it and you get your options. And I thought about how to create, open and save a file in Photoshop. So for that one, when you go to the YouTube channel, you find it, and when you are doing it, pause, take your time and watch the tutorials very carefully before you make any step. So without wasting more time, let's go straight into the skin softening, the assignment that I gave today. So we open our file browser, drag. This is the first file we are going to use for this tutorial. This is the first one. So as I said earlier, you are going to duplicate this layer by dragging to this place, or Ctrl+J to duplicate the layer. Ctrl+J to duplicate the layer. Ctrl+J to duplicate the layer. Control plus J to duplicate the layer. So after that one too, you come and select your spot healing brush at the tools panel, the spot healing. Then you heal the spot. That is where you are going to fix the blemishes. This work is part of the assignment that I've given on the page. This is part of the works I've given on the page. So we will just fix the blemishes. I think this is the easiest one that I pasted on the page. This is the easiest. This is the easiest. So after that, you duplicate that layer 2 again, and you name the one original, the down one original, you rename it to original, and the top one to editing, which means that will be the one we are going to edit. And you right click and convert to smart object. So after converting to smart object, you come to image, adjustment, invert, or you hold Ctrl plus I to invert. So if you finish inverting, you select the blending options here, you drop down here and change it to vivid light. So after vivid light, you come to filter, other, high pass. Whilst you selected the layer, and you can set the radius to any number that you feel comfortable with. But don't worry, because it's a smart object, you can change it at any time. You see it's here, so you just double click and change it at any time. So for now we are going to use the 15, and we come back to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and you increase the radius, you reduce the radius. You see, for the Gaussian blur, when you are reducing, that is when you get the smoothness and some little texture. But when it's more, you won't get any difference with the original and the edited. So we will maintain our own at let's say 3. It doesn't work for every image. It doesn't work for every image. So I'm doing for just this image. This one is just for this image. So after that, you hold the Alt key and click on the layer mask here to create a negative layer, or you click on the layer mask without holding the Alt key, and later you hold the Ctrl plus I whilst you selected the layer mask here and invert. So after inverting, you come and select your brush tool and make sure the opacity is somewhere. For this tutorial sake, I will make it 100 so that you will see the effect it's having on the image. And after that, we start brushing. You see, when you are brushing, you just have to stay away from the corners. You have to stay away from the corners if you want a realistic image. You stay away from the corners. This one, I'll add her neck. You stay away from the corners, and when you are getting to the bright sides of the image, the brighter sides, you reduce the opacity and you brush. So after that, let me group these two, and this is the before and this is the after. This is the before and this is the after. This is the before and this is the moving after. To the next image, we will select one of these images, the images I posted on the page. This is one, so let's work on this ones too with the same format. And at the end of this tutorial, I'll be teaching you how to do this in just 1 minute. I'll be teaching you how to do this in just 1 minute. So again, we fix the spots here, we clear the blemishes. This time around, you see, when you have these difficult blemishes, you just have to make some changes, because this time around I'll need to duplicate this layer, or I just need to add an adjustment layer and brighten it a little so that I can see what I'm working on. You can see what exactly you are working on, so that the blemishes will come. Reduce the contrast or increase the contrast. Let's increase it so that we can get what you are doing. So you increase the contrast. You increase the contrast and comment. When you select this background layer, you duplicate the layer. Take our spot healing brush tool. Take our spot healing brush tool. A spot healing brush tool and start fixing the image. Our spot healing brush tool and start fixing the image one by one. You see, sometimes when you are fixing it, you just have to be a little bit faster. When you have more images, you have to work a little more fast. And when you want to work fast, the spot healing won't help you, because it will make plenty mistake. You see, when I make the brush big and I select, you see the skin doesn't become, the skin turns to artificial. So you just do it, zoom in, do it little by little till you get what you want. Little by little, you get what you want. I hope we are all following what I'm doing. Please, if you don't understand anything, you can leave a comment there. You can leave a comment here so that I can explain things to you. If you don't understand anything, please leave a comment here. So now we are changing the spot healing tool to the patch tool, because we need to patch this skin here. We need to patch it to the nearest part that we think it's good for us. That is what we are removing. So as we continue to do our blemishes, let's continue from where we ended for the last place. So I was continuing to do the blemishes, fixing the blemishes, and making sure all the pimples and acne, are no more there. So we continue with it. Everything is fixed now. Everything is fixed now. So let's continue with the tutorial. So we continue with it. Everything is fixed now. Everything is fixed now. So let's continue with the tutorial. I'm very sorry for the inconveniences. Let's continue. We had a little issue with the network. So let's continue. So you continue to fix the blemishes. So assuming we are done with the blemishes, let's continue to do the work. So we will duplicate this layer again, duplicate the edited layer, and name the down one original and the top one edited. You right click on the edited one, convert to smart objects. You come to image, adjustment, image on the menu bar, adjustment and invert. So this is what you are going to get, like a ghost. And selecting the edited one again, you come to the blending options here, and you change the blend mode to vivid light. Change the blend mode to vivid light, and you come to filter, other, high pass. See high pass, you see how this one is coming. We don't want to see those black spots here. We don't want to see those black spots. You don't want to see that black spot here. So we will move it upwards a bit, make it connect very well, very smooth. So for this one I'm using 50. You see the other one we use somewhere 20 something. This one we are using 50 because 50 fits it very well, and it hits OK. And you come back to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, Gaussian blur. You see for this one, for us to get the texture of the skin, no, we will use, let me use 4, or we can use 3. You see, the more you increase it, the more the effect doesn't work for that one, and when you reduce it you get it very smooth. But this one we want to get a little texture of the image, so let's maintain 3.5. So you hold the alt key whilst you have selected the edited layer, and click on the layer mask. Click on the layer mask. You see, it will be like nothing happened to the image because it's a layer negative masking that we are doing. You see, when we say masking in Photoshop, it means like removing something from the original thing. So after that, whilst the layer mask is selected, you select your brush tool. The opacity, I'm still maintaining 100 because of the tutorial. I just want you to see how it's going to affect what we are doing. Please, I hope you can see the effect that is having on the image. So when you're doing it, you stay away from the dark spots, the dark places. You only go to the dark places if there is a blemish spot there. So when you're going to the dark places, you reduce the brush opacity to the lowest and you brush there. You see, I've reduced the brush opacity, and you continue to brush. So we are coming to this side. Let's increase it a little. 63. It's fine. You see, when I try to brush the dark spaces, you see how it's appearing. So we change the foreground color. This is the foreground color and the background color. You see, if you put the pointer on it, it will show you which one the foreground. You see, this is set foreground color and the dark one is set background color. So you change to black. So when it's black, it means you are bringing it to the original. You see, the layer mask is black. So if the layer mask is black, you paint with white to get your effect. If you want to clean your effect, we don't use the eraser tool to clean effects when you're using masking. We use the layer mask to do that. And you decrease your brush size to do the dark sides. So if you want to increase the brush size, you can come here and increase it here, or you right click, you increase it here, the brush size there. And we are grouping because we want to see the before and after. We want to separate the ones we've done from the ones that are already there, the original from the duplicate. The originals from the duplicate. So I think I will have to end this image here. This image here. You see, so if I group it, the edited and the original, if I group it, you see, this is the before and this is the after. Before and after. You let me bring the before image here for you to see the before and after. And there's one thing that we are going to do after this session too. There's a trick in Photoshop, the version I made you download and the upper versions. I don't know for the 2021, but the 2022 there's an effect that I'll teach you how to do it. I'll be using it, but I'm just teaching you how to do it. There's properties and quick actions. So this is the before and this is the after. I hope you can see the difference before between the two images. The left side here is the before, and the right side here is the after. Before and after. Before and after. Please, if you have any question, you can leave it in the comment section here so that I respond to it. Hi, in this tutorial, so the next thing we are coming to do is learn how to change backgrounds in Photoshop. We are going to learn how to change backgrounds in Photoshop. So as we are done with this tutorial, we will close it. You save the file to a folder, a destination folder that you want. You change to the destination folder that you want. So let's say I save mine to this folder as picture editing 1. You save it as Photoshop PSD file so that you can get the file back when you need it. Or if you are sending to someone, like I'm coming to forward this one to the page, I will go to File, Save As, and I choose JPEG, and name it Picture Editing. And save. You maintain everything here and you save, and you come to the folder. You see it here, Picture Editing. So picture editing. Now I'm pasting on the pages for us to see what we are doing. So this is for this page. Let me attach as document and come to this page 2. And drag it here. Please, and if you don't understand anything, you can ask. If you don't understand anything that is going on, you can ask me on the WhatsApp page or on the YouTube comment section, and I'll respond to you. So we move on to the next thing, which is changing backgrounds of images. Changing backgrounds. So this is what we've done so far. Let me do this too. Before and after. This is the before and after too of this image too. So this is the second one we've done. This is picture editing 2. Picture editing 2. Picture edit 2. So please, I'll be also waiting for the assignment. I have to get it by 7 o'clock in the morning so that I can review it for the class. so that I can review it for the class and add the grading to it. So the next thing is how to remove backgrounds of an image. So we are going to learn Photoshop, two Photoshop tricks. So we will import our image here. We import our image into a Photoshop. So let's fix it first, and now after that we change the background. So I'm using the patch tool to do that. So now we've been given an image. So I want to see this change background thing in the editings we are going to do as an assignment and for extra marks. Yeah, because at the end of the day we are going to grade ourselves for what we've been able to do. So I'm fixing it very fast. I'm doing it very fast. I'm trying my best to do it very fast, because these things take time. It takes time. You have to be able to get time to do it, because if you don't do it well, the clients might reject it, and you won't want that. So you take time and do it. It takes time. Please follow these tutorials very well. And when you are moving the blemishes, not everything you see there is a blemish. Some are birthmarks, and you wouldn't want to do that, because you can be sued for that, for removing someone's birthmark. Due to the tutorial's sake, I won't be doing it very much. I think it's fine. I think it's fine. I think it's fine. I think this is fine. I think this is fine. So as we continue, you duplicate this layer, or you turn off this lock sign here. By doing that, you just left click on it, it will just change, and you come to this properties here. If you can't see this one here, let's say you don't have it, let's say you don't have it, and yours, I think it might come this way, you won't be having the properties. So you come to window and you come to properties for it to be added here. So when you click on it, you get an option to remove background or select subjects. That is a new feature that Photoshop has included in the 2022, the 2021 I think, and the 2022 and the 2023 version. So with these versions, you can just, when you select the layer, you can just hit on remove background and just click on remove background. So it will just remove the background for you. The artificial intelligence will just remove the background for you. Very nice. And place it on a negative layer mask. So let's change the background. We are just going to add this background here to it. Let's add this background here. So when you drag the image onto your Photoshop file, you drag your image onto the Photoshop file, you see it will be on top of the layer. So you bring this, let me name it background layer new, background layer new. You drag it down here just to change the background, and after that you can add some adjustments to it, some brightness, and you toggle this on, this thing here, which means the brightness should just affect only this. We call it a clipping mask. So you can right click whilst it's on top of the layer that you edit and select create clipping mask. So any changes you are going to do will only affect the layer that it has been clipped on. It's going to only affect that image. So we are just making the background blur, blend in with the layer on top. So you can come to color adjustment again, color balance. You see the background is yellow, so you add a little yellow to your image. You add a little yellow to your image, and I think it's looking very fine. Very fine. It's looking very fine. Very fine. Now let's work on the image again. To, you see, after we removed the blemishes, we didn't smoothen the face, we didn't do anything. So now let's smoothen the face. You hold the Alt key and clip in between the brightness, the adjustment layers that you place here, and now you select the layer and you hold Ctrl+G, or you just drag it to the folder and it will just put that image, this image here, into the folder for you. And then you duplicate it by dragging it to the plus button here, right click and convert to smart objects, come to image adjustments, invert, normal, the blend mode to vivid, the filter to other, high pass, let's maintain 35. Let's select filter again, blur, Gaussian blur, blur, Gaussian blur, and keep it at, let's say, 1. I think 1 will work for this image. I think most of us got this error whilst doing their work, and they thought it was an error that they make. No, it's not an error. You are the one seeing it that way because of the quality of the image. You see, when you zoom in, you don't see that effect there. So hold the Alt key and click on the layer mask to bring out the negative layer mask. Select the brush to change the opacity to for this tutorial sake, we are using 80 for that, so that we can, I just want you to see, that's why I'm increasing the opacity that much. But on realistic images that you want to get the texture, we don't do it that way. When it comes to fixing blemishes and smoothing faces, you just have to be careful. You just have to be careful, because if you don't take care, the person might change. Just this thing can change the person's face, the person's appearance, and it will ruin your career too, because they will go out and say, I brought this image to this person. When he finished editing, I'm not the same person again. It's like it's not me. So you stay away. You stay away from the edges too. And I can see someone is asking if there are only two ways of removing the spots. You can use the spot healing brush, you can use the healing brush too, you can use the patch too, you can use the content aware move too. The content aware move too. You can use the red eye too. You have to just practice all of them and be conversant with the one that you can use. But the easiest is the spot healing and the patch too, if you want to go very fast. If you want to go very fast, that is what you use. That is what you use. That is what I am recommending for you for this tutorial sake. So after we are done, you hold the Alt key and click in between this group layer here and the adjustment layer that we first added, which is the brightness adjustment layer, and the color balance layer too, so that it will just only affect the top layer. It will only affect the top layer. So again, we select or shift this here. I want you to see the before and the after. The before and the after. So this is before. I'm just dragging the old image to it. This is the before. Let me delete this part. I'm just using the rectangular marquee tool to just select this side. You see, earlier on, as I said in the previous tutorials, I was explaining the tools that we are using, the uses of all those tools. The uses of all those tools. Some are selection tools, some are retouching tools. So part of the retouching tools that we are using is the blemishes tool, eyedropper. So the blemishes tool the healing brush tool that we are using is part of the blemishes tool. So this is the before and this is the after. I think it's fine. It's very fine. It's very fine. It's very fine. The before and after. So please, if you have any questions too, you can ask, because I want to end this session here. I think the teeth whitening that I did, I don't know, I haven't gotten any comment or any thing about that. So I don't know if you are all okay, but I think silence means consent. If you are not talking about it, it means you are okay with it. So this is the before and after. If you want me to do it again too, I can also do the teeth whitening here too again for us to see how. I think I'll just have to do it very quick. The teeth whitening. I'll just do it very quick. The teeth whitening. So let me just hop onto it and do it. The teeth whitening. I think the link to the image file of the teeth whitening, I think it's in the video link. So let me just go how and let me go and pick that image from the video link that I posted. So if you come and click on the image that I posted, the video that I posted, you come to the comments, the image is here, so you can just download it. I've made an actions to that. I've made an action to that. So we just download our image. So someone will also ask what an action is. What an action is. You see, if we say an action is in Photoshop, is doing some steps. So you can, with this, the whole thing that we are just doing here, you can record it somewhere, and it will just, you can just play it, and it will do all the works that we did for you. It will do everything for you. You just record it, and it's when you need it, you just start playing it. It will just work out the way you want it. It will just work out how you want it. It will just work out. So let me bring this image. Which image? I think this one is the easiest. So you import it here. This is the actions. This is the actions. You see, let's use some of the default actions that we have here. You see, this is what molten lead. So if I click on the molten lead and I hit play here, you see what it's added. So it has just added a molten lead onto a layer onto the background layer. Sepia toning. You see, it just added a sepia toning without, you see, I didn't duplicate it. I just hit play. It's duplicated the image, added a hue saturation. You see, if you come to the properties of the hue saturation, you see what is it did here. It has changed the hue, the master hue to 30, saturation -25. So that is what actions are. So that is how we can do the fix blemishes in 1 minute. So please, you can start the timer. So you come to the plus sign here. This is different from this place. This is for actions. So we are coming to record an action. Let me name it Skin Soft. Skin Soft. You set it under default actions. So it will come here. We are setting it under default actions. We won't give it any function key, and we start recording. So we start recording. For now, before you can start recording, you have to make sure the blemishes, you are done with the blemishes. So for now, we will stop here and remove the blemishes, because you can't be using the blemishes. You can't be using the blemishes. You have to remove it by your own, because all blemishes are not the same. If you are doing to just one image, you can do it to it. Like you can just, if it is just this image and you are doing 5 times, you can add the blemishes to it, remove the blemish. You can record it too, because that is what you want it to do. So this is just a bonus trick. So I'm done with the blemishes. So let me start recording. So when you are recording, you hit this one, this begin recording button here. So let's begin recording. This is what we want the action to do. We want the action to duplicate this layer. That is when you are done with the blemishes. Duplicate this layer, right click on the action should convert to smart objects for us. The same actions should come to adjustment and invert for us. The same action should convert to vivid light. The same action should move from other to high pass and set this number that we are setting right now. For now I'm using 25. So you can see that it's all coming here, one after the other, one after. So the action will duplicate the current layer, convert to smart object, invert, set current layer, set high pass, and the action should also add the Gaussian blur effect on it. So for the Gaussian blur effect, we are maintaining 2, and after that the action should do the should convert it to add the layer negative layer mask, which is holding the alt key and clicking on this layer mask. So when the action finishes, it should select the brush for us to just brush. So when you are done here, you can just click stop and you start doing your brushes. You start brushing. Please, I hope you can see the effect. We will just brush, and that's all. So now the action has been created here. So now the action has been created here. Skin soft, and this is the things we want the action to do. So now let's clear everything that we've done here, and now you click on the action button here. We will click on the play selection here. So it has just did it for us. So you just brush, you just brush, you just brush. So if you didn't see it, I'm importing a different image here. Let's say, let me bring this image to this place. So we just select play and we play it. Sorry, we will just have to remove the blemishes first. You have to remove the blemishes first. You see, when you import your image, the first thing you have to do is remove the blemishes. Remove the blemishes first. Remove the blemishes. This is a birthmark, so you don't have to touch it. So remove the blemishes first. Remove the blemishes. So after you are done with the blemishes, you select your move tool, you hit play. So it's done. I'll just brush for you to see the effect. You see? So this is using the effect that we used on the other image to do this. It's using the other image. See, as I said earlier, you have to stay away from birthmarks. You see, I just want you to see the effect. So after that one, you come to after you finish brushing. After you finish brushing, you come here, double click on the Gaussian blur, but I think you have to do the high pass first. You do the high pass first. You come to your Gaussian blur, and now you adjust the Gaussian blur a little, because we need the texture, so we maintain this one at 9. So this is the after blemishes, before and after, before and after. You see, before and after. And this is the original image. If you look at the original and this one, there is a vast difference in it. This is the before and this is the after. Before and after. So please, if you are doing it, take your time and do it, before and the after. So quick, let's go to the teeth whitening that we're about to do it. This one, you just have to do it in some few seconds. You add your adjustment layer, hue, saturation. You come here, you change it to yellows, reduce this one, increase this one a little, open up this yellow, the range that it should be, invert this layer by selecting and control plus I to invert, or you can come to, after selecting this one, the layer mask, you come to image, adjustment, invert, and you select your brush tool here again. It's the same process as the skin smoothing, but this one you don't do all the processes because you don't need smoothing on the teeth. Then you start brushing only on the teeth, only on the teeth. So I think that's all for today's tutorial. So please, I'll be waiting for the assignment, and I'll add this assignment to the page for you to do it on your own. Just this image, you can attach it to your assignment. If you are able to do it, it's a bonus mark too. So let me save this one, edited picture background. These are simple ones. Tomorrow we are going to do more of these editings. We'll go the advanced way of these editings. So this is it. I'm also posting that one too. So thank you for joining us in this tutorial. Thank you very much for joining us.